This is David, and today I'm going to be bringing you a review of the Milviz PA-30 Twin Comanche. The Twin Comanche was built as a competitor to the Baron and 310. This aircraft was built as more of a no-frills competitor, but still, it's an excellent IFR platform. So this kind of completes a trio of the big twins of the 60s and 70s. This aircraft has been reproduced to typical Milviz quality, a beautiful external model, beautiful internal model, beautiful flight dynamics. The airplane definitely handles like you would expect a twin to. When we go up and fly here in a minute, we'll do a VMC demonstration and you'll see what I'm talking about. The aircraft has the spin recovery characteristics you would expect of a twin, in that it does not like to recover from a spin, so spins need to be avoided at all possible costs in a twin. Alright, so let's dive in. Let's have a quick look at our external model. As you can see from even standing way back there, the airplane has a beautiful external model, really nice clean 3D modeling, very nice texture work all around. This particular airplane doesn't look like it's been cared for that well. But you can see a little bit of reflection still left in the paint. The bump mapping on the rivets actually really impresses me, because you've got not only the rivets, which look very realistic, you also have a little bit of dirt streaks coming back off these, and that's extremely common to see on airplanes, especially if they're not washed all the time. Kind of like, looks like this one has not been washed that often. Got some nice paint chips down there in the gear door, and the metal actually reflects, the bare metal down there reflects differently than the metal on the gear, or the paint on the gear door. So that's pretty neat to see as well. The texture work on the cowl looks great. You can see the individual screws, a little bit of wear on the paint or where the panels come together. That's really common for them to get a chip there. Come around, very detailed landing gear. You know, you got the dirt and everything on the tire, and you also got the hydraulic fluid and everything up in the actual gear there. Looks like we're doing a little bit of oil off the prop there. Very nice model. You can actually see into the spinner and up into the hub. Got the tie downs modeled. Yeah, pretty much if it's on the Twin Comanche, it is modeled. The only thing that I don't care for about the airplane is I do think the glass is a little bit too blue. But that's it. That's the only thing that I've found so far on the whole airplane. Like I said, we got our ADF antenna down there. This is a classic airplane, so you're going to see some more kind of old school style cockpit with this. That said, let's pop in and have a look. Alright, so like I said, this is an excellent IFR platform. It's not too much, it's not too little. You've got everything you need to be very successful with the IFR. By default, it comes with a 530 and 430. Those are just the default GPSs, but you can integrate the GTN series, 750, 650, 430, 530, or the RXP stuff. The aircraft does come with the Milviz / Rex WX Advantage radar built in as well. You can put that on. The airplane, like I said, is definitely set up for IFR. We've got our ADF up there. We have our two OBSs, an HSI, which I actually had an HSI in my Blanca Super Viking that I have. I have two OBSs that are similar to that. They work, but I do wish I had the HSI. It'd make my life a little bit easier. We got a clock with second hands. The panel's set up actually really differently for IFR. You know, it's not that typical six-pack. Everything's kind of spread out, but it's different, and I kind of like that. It doesn't look all the same. All the gauges look really, really nice. You can actually see the turn and bank there. The ball, the lines on are actually casting their own shadow back in there. It's not a Doesn't look like it's a texture, it's actual shadow that Sim's casting in there. So, like I said, yeah, you have everything you need for IFR. Legally, you actually even have to have a VSI for IFR. That doesn't have to be there, but you do have to have clockable second hands for holds, I guess. The weird thing about the Pipers back in this time, Piper, for some odd reason, felt that it was okay. Let's put a manifold pressure gauge, single one, but let's put 2 RPM gauges instead of having it kind of similar to the manifold pressure gauges, where it was just a single gauge with 2 needles in it. I saw this in the Piper Seminoles I was flying while I was going to get them at multi-engine rating, commercial multi-engine, and multi-engine instructor rating. But they had the older ones. The newer ones had the single gauge. The older ones had the 2 RPM gauges like this, which it took a little bit of getting used to because I had been flying the newer ones. Just thinking up the props took a little bit, but after a while you just kind of end up doing it by sound anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. In the sim, most people probably don't even have the 2 axes mapped independently. Anyway, inside the VC, the texture work is beautiful. Everything works how it should. You got our air control there. Got a really nice animation for the window, nice reflection that closes. The rudder pedals I was very impressed with. You've got the actuator rods there. Of course, everything moves very nice and fluidly. And a cool thing about this airplane is you can pull these little covers up. There's your circuit breakers. Down here is your emergency gear handle, which I'm not 100% sure if this airplane has the same style gear system as the Seminole has, which would be hydraulically actuated or electrically actuated, hydraulically operated gear, but with no up locks. It's the hydraulic pressure actually holds the gear up. I would think because there's similar vintage, that it would be the same system though. All right, that said, let's go ahead and get cranked up here. All right, get our master switch on, get our left mags on, mixture up, throttle cracked. Get our left generator on, left fuel pump. Alright, get that fuel pump off. Off, avionics are coming on. Alright, so the airplane's got really nice sound package. As you can hear when the avionics came on, you get kind of an electronic buzz or whine. That's very common in a lot of older airplanes. Got a really good autopilot system here as well that's included. Obviously a decent audio panel, ADF, and transponder. Alright, so cow flaps are open. Let's go ahead and roll out to the runway. Forgot to put my pilot back in here. There we go. Show the pilot. So you can put chocks in, engine covers, all that good stuff. Alright. So flaps for takeoff. So flight dynamics wise, this airplane handles very much like you would expect a twin to handle. Like I said, I believe I said, we're going to go climb up. We're going to do Vmc Demo so you can kind of see what that is like. And if you watched my review on the 310, we did it there as well. But to explain what Vmc Demo is, so all twins, you have two speeds, which you have is blue line. So basically, any set speed, you will be able to, you're guaranteed to be able to maintain directional control. With another speed is red line, which is not your VNE. It's another speed, which is basically velocity minimum control, is what I like to call it, which is minimum control speed. So it is VMC. So by doing a thing called VMC Demo, we are demoing what the airplane does when it reaches that minimum controllable airspeed and how we recover from that. That's part of multi-engine flight training. I did mine in the Seminole, so it had counter-rotating props, so we did not have a critical engine. This airplane has a critical engine. So what you do is you pull power back on your critical engine, go ahead and pitch the airplane up, and you recover at the first sign of loss of directional control, a stall, or first indication of the stall. So a buffet, a horn, or a full stall. So I'll climb up here to give myself a little bit of altitude. This airplane is like a real twin in that if you do VMC it, you leave that VMC in there and leave it in VMC too long, or go below VMC, and you stay there too long, you don't recover, it will go into a spin, and so far I have not been able to recover it from this spin. Obviously your visors work there, and you can control how far down you want them, which is nice. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the sound back on and go ahead and do a VMC demo. There's full rudder deflection. That would be considered loss of directional control. Power coming back on the good engine. Nose come back down, get above my VMC. Power coming back up. Recover. And bring my engines back together at about 20 inches of manifold pressure. The airplane, like I said, if you do not recover from that VMC state, the airplane will go into a spin. Like I said, I haven't been able to recover from the spin yet. I've tried it about 6 times. So when it goes into a spin, it's going in. Also, just go ahead and we'll do a power on stall and a power off stall. Because this airplane doesn't have counter-rotating props, I'm actually having to add a little bit of right rudder to keep the airplane centered up or in coordinated flight. There we go. So it does have a little bit of tendency to drop a wing in a power on stall. Let's see how it does in a power off stall. Set up about a 500, 600 foot a minute rate of descent in the landing configuration. Just a little bit of power on. Hold it at about 80. Alright. Now we're going to go ahead and reduce our power back to idle and let the airplane stall. And get a positive rate of climb back established. the airplane cleaned up. So flight dynamics wise, the airplane flies really nicely. It's not a super agile airplane, nor should it be, but it's no slouch either. And it's not the fastest airplane in the world. What I would say that this airplane is really good for is learning that initial instrument flying. So if you are relatively, even if you're experienced in flight sim and you really want to learn how to do IFR the right way, it's kind of, there's a reason why you come through airplanes like this when you're training to be an airline pilot, and you don't go fly 737 right away. And that's kind of a flaw in flight sim, in that people, learn to fly on something like the PMDG 737, which is an excellent airplane. I'm not knocking the airplane, or guys who prefer to fly airliners. My point is you've learned an automation. You may not have learned the actual technique, how to fly the airplane behind it. I know I watched a ton of videos on YouTube of people always using auto land on the 737s instead of hand flying the approach. I always hand fly every approach, even if I have an autopilot in the real airplane I'm flying, like the Citation that I fly. I hand fly the approach because it keeps my skills proficient. I hand fly every approach in flight sim. It doesn't matter if I'm flying a PMG 747-400 or 800 or this airplane. I don't use the autopilot on instrument approaches. I will use the autopilot at cruise on both those airplanes, but that's about it. Now, in the real world, single pilot IMC, I'm going to fly the approach myself because I want to maintain my proficiency. But if I'm up in the clouds or something and I'm busy getting set up for an approach, I will turn an autopilot on. So I'm not saying I don't use it at all, but for the most part, I want to maintain my skills and proficiency, so I like to hand fly the airplane. Alright, so let's go ahead and see how this airplane handles a landing on a single engine with a critical engine failed. As you can see, it's a very stable airplane. I've got my my half ball deflection into that good engine. I'm going to wait to configure to land, or put the gear down until landing is assured. So the airplane handles single engine operations really well. So this would definitely be a good airplane to practice your single engine instrument work in. Let's go ahead and see how the night lighting looks, and also the true glass. So this airplane is true glass. It also has true light night lighting. So let's see how that looks. Go ahead and bring all of our lights on here before I switch over to nighttime, so I don't able to see everything. So we'll go ahead and bring everything on. All right, cool. While we're doing this, we'll also we'll go ahead and let the sim load up. Yeah, the airplane is a very nice airplane. Like I said, it's a great platform to learn IFR on. It's not the fastest airplane in the world, so that will give you time to, you know, hit your initial approach fix, and then continue to your final approach fix and get configured before there. All that good stuff. Just kind of give you time to really learn the airplane and learn how to fly IFR. So I definitely do recommend this airplane. I can't say I've run anything across anything Milviz that I would not recommend. Alright, so there is our panel lighting. So I can bring that down here. Got a dome light up here as well. And to be completely honest, I'm not sure how to turn that guy off. But as you can see, the night lighting looks really great. It looks great out front here as well. The lights obviously light up the wingtip tanks there. Look nice. I will say that these do appear to have, the landing lights at least, appear to have a pretty severe impact on frame rates. But that's normal because I have the AA turned all the way up and I am on a laptop. So that would be the reason behind that. So we'll go back to daytime now and just have a quick look at the rain effects. But it is all dynamic lighting versus just textures. Since everybody's probably seen that I have been doing some X-Plane videos, this is one place where I do say I do prefer X-Plane, in that I don't have to reload all my textures and terrain just because I want to fly at night. It's a pretty much instantaneous change. So let's we'll go stormy weather. Make sure I have window. That windshield effects is enabled. That's one more thing, because I believe I detail precipitation. So I'm not sure why that's not working. I haven't given it a try before, but normally I haven't had an issue with the true glass not working. We'll roll the airplane forward here a little bit. Let's see. Those off, don't need them on. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what the deal with that is. With the true glass not showing the rain effects, maybe this airplane does not include rain effects. But you think if it had the true glass that it would. So that may just be an issue with the airplane itself. But like I said, I do recommend the airplane regardless of whether it has the true glass rain effects or not, it is a great IFR platform. If you're wanting to learn more about how to fly IFR, this would be a great airplane to do it in. It's a great cross-country airplane too. You can get about 165 knots ground speed out of it, so it's not a slow airplane. It's not as fast as a Baron or a 310, but it is something different and unique, and I do recommend this aircraft. And I know that with Milviz, if something is wrong with a product, it will be fixed. This is probably just, it could be a glitch in my system, could be something wrong with the install, but yeah, this glitch is the only one I've found so far with the airplane. Other than that, very happy with it. I do recommend the airplane, and I'm sure that now this has kind of been brought to their attention, the true glass will be fixed, just knowing Milviz. Alright folks, I hope everyone has enjoyed the review. Please give it a like or subscribe. If you have any questions about flying multi-engine airplanes, about getting your pilot's license, getting your commercial license, anything like that, and becoming a CFI, what it's like to be a CFI, just comment below. I'll do my best to answer your questions. If I don't know the answer, I'll go look it up, ask another instructor, and we'll find an answer for you. Alright folks, hope you've enjoyed the video. Have a good one.